especially the Navy's supercarriers. The US Navy currently has artillery systems already in use by the US military. The shells will also use drones. We're all familiar with what an
Hey guys, welcome back again. So I am joined today by
his wife,
Prince.
So this has been a very huge will I just say argument or debate between the two of or three of us. We've been talking about how strong the US is. So today we're going to be actually looking at the 5 reasons you shouldn't mess with the US. They call me a US
Ambassador.
yeah, ambassador. So let me know if my decision is correct for supporting the US. So stick around to the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Let's go. Yeah.
The collapse of the Soviet Union in the early 90s left the United States as the sole superpower in the world, and it's never looked back. In all aspects of the world, the United States is indeed a superpower, especially when it comes to its military might, which is unsurpassable in its strength, technological superiority, operational capabilities, and power projection across the globe. In this video, we'll take a look at the 5 top reasons why you wouldn't want to go against the US military establishment.
Exactly.
The United States
I'm just thinking, sorry, has anybody ever gone heads up with the Americans, like for battle or fight in history?
I don't think so. Has there been
Yeah, Japan.
Yeah. The attack on Pearl Harbor. They were the one
that
actually.
was part of World War II.
Yeah.
We're talking about
That whole
Air Force
Hiroshima
is the
nuclear
strongest
yes,
in the
that's
world,
the World War II.
not only in the number of operational aircraft, but also in technological superiority. The country currently operates a total of over 15,000 military aircraft, combining all the branches of the military service, including the US Navy, US Army, Coast Guard, and the US Marines.
Yeah, air battle is
As of
impressive.
2017, the US Air Force alone has a fleet of over 5,300 aircraft, 406 intercontinental ballistic missiles, and 170 military satellites, greater than any other country in the world. The USA has the largest number of stealth aircraft designed to be silent killers and untrackable by the radar defense systems of most countries in the world.
It's like known as a stealth aircraft, which means it's kind of like improvised to satellite radar. Like you can actually yes.
So like if a missile is coming, right, the defense will scan. Oh, a missile is coming in this direction. They can counter that missile with another missile. But that stealth stuff, you won't even see it coming.
You won't see it coming.
You won't hear the sound. You won't see it, or your device just like a silent killer.
What? I think with time they are going to create something to actually
Counter it.
like to detect
And when you are creating it to detect it, they will
They're
make it. They're upgrading it. So
you
so just can't be that.
So don't mess with the US if you don't want to get attacked.
Some of these stealth aircraft include air superiority fighters, such as the F-22 Raptor and the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, heavy bombers, such as the B-2 Spirit. In fact, the United States pioneered this technology in the 1980s with the introduction of the F-117 Nighthawk stealth attack aircraft. Stealth aircraft are designed to avoid detection using a variety of technologies that reduce radar reflection from ground, sea, or air-based radar antennas, thereby reducing its radar cross-section, or RCS. This revolutionary technology allows a 5th-generation aircraft, such as the F-22 Raptor, with a max takeoff weight of 83,500 pounds, to have a radar cross-section of just 0.0001 meters squared, about the size of a bumblebee. What's more insane is that the massive
It has the size of a bumblebee.
No. It's kind of like how it was. I won't say size. It's more like creating something and using another stuff to actually equate its strength. Do you get? Yeah, the futures exactly.
The bomber also has the same radar cross-section as the F-22 Raptor. Thus, it becomes extremely difficult to track stealth aircraft.
Yeah.
Even if the enemy spots them on their radar scopes, it's a whole other story to successfully track them and register a missile kill. The whole idea behind this technology is to break the chain in which a conventional surface-to-air missile defense system works. It's the same reason countries like China and Russia are also hard at developing their own stealth fighter, the Chengdu J-20 and the Sukhoi Su-57, respectively. These aircraft will allow the US Air Force to assert its air superiority over any battlefield of the future. And we all know that control of these skies is the biggest decider in any war.
Yes.
The next reason why any country going to war with the US military should think twice is because of the strength of the US Navy and its dominance over the world's ocean, especially the Navy's
You know it
supercarriers.
too well.
The US Navy currently operates 11 nuclear-powered Nimitz-class supercarriers, which is the largest aircraft carrier fleet in the world. The only navy that can come close in terms of technological advancement is probably the Royal Navy of the United Kingdom, but they only have 2 operational carriers. The Nimitz class of carriers has a displacement of over 100,000 tons and can carry a complement of up to 70 aircraft. They're literally a floating small town in the ocean with its own airport. The Nimitz class carrier
Like a floating
Its own
city.
airport.
Like
Yeah.
basically, it's floating
Like a
city
military city.
or an estate.
Yeah.
That's why
Like
they can
have
spend.
its own air track.
Yeah.
You know how big it needs to be.
That's why some Navy officers could spend years
Yes, on
in
the
the
sea.
sea. On the sea, sorry, not in the sea.
On the sea.
On the sea, without going home. Do you understand? Because that is kind of like you are living in a city, which is impressive.
Wow.
in themselves are extremely potent offensive weapons, but the way they operate in what is called the carrier strike
how do they
groups
land
makes
it?
these ships
There's
even
no
more
way,
deadly.
Yeah,
The carrier
you have
seldom
to match
deploys
the
alone.
speed.
There are
They really
always
do
a
pilot.
fleet of surface and underwater assets surrounding them and forming a strike group. These include
Like,
guided
what
missile
I'm saying is
cruisers,
that even just in the airport, before you like notice the pilot will like circle, like so. This is a different ball game.
No, the aircraft on its own is not built that way.
Yeah, it's not built that way.
different.
Yeah,
Most of them actually, right? There are some of these aircraft that can actually land on the spot.
Yeah,
And
take off on-
yeah, and take off on the spot. While some of them have to like match the speed in which
carrier.
the carrier is moving on to actually decelerate and land,
Okay.
stuff like
a
that.
destroyer squadron, attack submarines, and other support
And
vessels.
even the one on the
Together, they project the power of the carrier and at the center of the group forward towards the
You
enemy.
can't sneak past them.
While the carrier is
You
carrying
can't
out
sneak
its
past their
offensive
Yeah.
role with the use of its air wing,
And the
the
funny
other
thing is, like,
ships are
I
responsible
understand,
to
like, the
protect
radar is
its
on,
flanks
like,
against any
constant.
enemy attack.
So
This
there's no way,
combination
there's no
of
blind
offensive
spots
and
here.
defensive strategy
Under,
makes
on
the US
top,
carrier strike
everywhere.
group almost
On surface.
impenetrable. The United States Navy maintains 9 such carrier strike groups, 8 of which are based in the United States and one
These are
that's
IBMs.
forward deployed to Japan. For over 50 years,
Okay,
this has
carriers.
been the principal element of US power protection, and the Nimitz class of supercarriers are at the center of it all. Despite this,
They move
the
like
US is
majestic.
currently in the process of developing a new class of carriers called the Gerald R. Ford class, intended to replace the Nimitz class ships. This new supercarrier will be even more technologically advanced and is expected to continue US dominance of the oceans well into the late 21st century.
Down.
The third reason why you shouldn't fight the US military is their massive stockpile of nuclear and conventional intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs. The ICBM
Nightmare of
plays
all
the role
nations.
of the land leg in the US nuclear triad, along with the Trident submarine-launched
Holy
ballistic
water.
missile (SLBM) and nuclear warheads carried on long-range strategic
Second.
bombers. ICBMs.
What I want to ask is this, right? How do they keep all these missiles? Because I can't work in a place where there is missiles. Imagine one.
That's why you're not working there.
Imagine one blowing up
Like,
like
one
it's
just go
gone.
There was a time,
But
there was a time in Lagos where they stored these Nigeria bombs and the rest. One went off, and it was really bad. It took a lot of lives.
Wait,
Very fast.
Nigeria has where they store bombs.
Obviously now all
like
countries
country. Yeah. Oh,
See,
Like,
sorry,
bro, like,
sorry.
come on, do better, do better.
See,
You can.
back to the video, right? This mixer, you know, there are some country. I think country like Israel has this protective shield over them.
Iron Dome.
Iron Dome.
Iron Dome. Like, can you think these their missiles actually penetrate through?
No, they can't actually, attack Israel because they are kind of
I'm
like
saying
different.
Like, if they want to,
a
like-
if it's a country
Omo,
like have that kind of shield,
They
over
have
them.
to send more
Yeah,
because that's what I cannot call names, but like that's what they did. The attacker did. They sent more. So the Iron Dome cannot like
to weaken
counter everything. It was, let me say they sent 50. It can't counter
Oh.
22 or 30, but some will hit. But it will reduce the damage.
yeah.
So unless
that's
them
just it.
bring more Iron Domes or increase the capacity of it. That's the only way.
Launched from ground-based missile silos,
I'm sorry,
achieving high
but I didn't know we
suborbital
had-
spaceflight, approximately 1,000 miles above the surface of the Earth. The body of the missile then separates from the warhead, which re-enters the atmosphere and free falls to the assigned target at hypersonic speeds. The US military currently operates 400 ICBMs from its base in Wyoming, Montana, and North Dakota. The LGM-30G Minuteman III is the only type of ICBM that is currently operational in the US. The Minuteman III family of ICBMs were first developed in the 1960s as a response to the Soviet nuclear threat. Throughout the Cold War and beyond, these missiles have undergone constant modernization. In the last decade alone, the US military has undertaken $7 billion worth of upgrades. The rocket propulsion engines, the propellants used, the guidance system, and even the flight control surfaces have all been refurbished. The upgraded missiles are completely different from its 1960s counterparts, except for the shell. These state-of-the-art improvements and modernization programs have kept the Minuteman III system operational for over 50 years with improved reliability that supports the missile's remarkable 99% alert rate. The latest versions of the missiles have a range of over 8,000 miles, which is greater than the diameter of the Earth at 7,917.5 miles. They can carry multiple 330 kiloton nuclear warheads, which is 20 times greater than the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Not only that, each of these warheads can be assigned to different targets independently. The technology is called Multiple Independently Targetable Re-Entry Vehicle, or MIRV, and was first developed for the Minuteman III family of missiles. So any country messing with the United States will have to deal with this awesome arsenal of firepower, which can be launched at a moment's notice. If it weren't the ICBMs or the stealth fighters raining fire down on you, it would be precision-guided munitions, or better known as smart bombs or PGMs instead. This is another big reason why not messing with the US military is a good idea. All branches of the US military use smart bombs in some forms or the other. These weapon systems are designed to be precise and hit a specific target with maximum efficiency.
On their own, they have
These bombs are so effective that during the First Gulf War, PGMs comprised only 9% of weapons fired, but accounted for 75% of all successful hits. Since then, for the US military at least, the days of normal artillery shells and unguided bombs are long gone. Nowadays, the military uses PGMs from air, ground, and sea. Precision-guided munitions come in various forms and use different kinds of technologies to achieve precise hits. A large majority of PGMs use the Global Positioning System, or GPS, of satellites to guide their trajectory to target. However, sometimes this becomes a problem, as GPS coverage is not always reliably available everywhere across the globe, or bad weather conditions can hinder operations. Thus, the Office of Naval Research, the Naval Surface Warfare Center, and the Army Research Laboratory have all coordinated to develop the first ever artillery-fired smart munition that will not use GPS guidance. The project is known as Moving Target Artillery Round, or MTAR for short. The MTAR shell can be guided onto stationary as well as moving targets in both land and sea, using a combination of guidance technology. The best part is that these shells can be fired from the existing M777A2 155mm towed howitzer and the M109A7 Paladin Integrated Management Self-Propelled 155mm artillery systems already in use by the US military. The shells will also feature an extended range of 40 to 60 miles using rocket boosters to propel them. Once finished, it will afford the US military another potent weapon system that outclasses others around the world. Lastly, the fifth and final reason why you shouldn't fight the US military is drones. We're all familiar with what an unmanned aerial vehicle or drone is and what it's supposed to do. But in recent years, the usability of UAVs are steadily increasing to encompass all spheres of military operations, and the US military is the pioneering spirit behind it. At first, used only for surveillance missions, drones were quickly weaponized after the 9/11 attacks and have been extensively used by the US military in the war against terror as an offensive weapon platform. It's forecasted that over the next decades, the US is in line to purchase over 1,000 combat drones of various classifications. Some of them, like the Lockheed Martin RQ-170 Sentinel and the Boeing MQ-25 Stingray, are already in the final stages of development, and once finished, will provide the US military with state-of-the-art platforms capable of multi-role operations, ranging from attack missions to aerial refueling. Drone technology has reached such heights today that a single UAV can loiter miles above the surface of the Earth for hours, waiting for the target to show its head and sticking within purity.
The thing could
This
actually hover
capability
on
will
a certain
allow all the
location
services
for
under
hours.
the US military
until
to
the first
reduce its
come out.
dependency on manned platforms, thereby reducing the risks during future combat operations. These 5 weapon systems make the US military extremely dangerous for any adversary looking to get into a conflict with them. In a conventional warfare setting, it's almost impossible to beat the US military machine. That's why modern enemies of the United States are employing more and more asymmetric warfare strategies against the mighty US military. Despite that, the US military juggernaut is hands down the most powerful military complex in the world today, and probably will be for decades to come. That's all we have for you today, folks. Thanks for sticking around till the end. If you like the video and want to stay up to date on cool military stuff like this, then click the subscribe button and also click the notification bell, and you'll be the first to know.
Like and subscribe.
You know, there's a question I really like to ask, right? If people know that the US has this capability or this capacity in terms of artilleries and everything.
No, artillery is like a olden days form of machinery.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about they have all this equipment and everything. Why in the world do you guys still look for conflict with US?
That's why I asked, like, is there any country that have gone heads on with the US?
So
And,
it is that
most
most conflicts being done is not against like herself with the US, but
allies.
yeah, but when US not like intervened, notice those countries will back down, they will stop, because they know there's going to be a mass
I'm
money.
just, I'm
brutal.
sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
brutal.
sorry. I'm just imagining Russia and US going to
Yeah.
just going to explode because those guys are
Big dogs,
Those are kind of like the top.
the apex.
Yeah, I love that
The
one.
apex.
I love that one. The apex.
No, you guys,
So-
this technological advancement is
It's massive.
massive.
Yeah, but kind of I'm talking about is why Russia could like go heads on with USA, because like looking at the like landmass, they kind of far like close to. Because USA is a very big country.
Yeah, it's a
Like
continent.
it's almost like a continent on its own. So and Russia is like similar to that. So it just make more sense like two
Yeah.
big people.
You're not bringing that to light. You just
Yeah,
split
that's
second
yeah.
thought. So don't,
Get
you should not do it on.
you know that. So,
Please.
like yeah, that's a thought though.
But really, to see how advanced they are is
It's mind
The
blowing.
US will mess you
But,
up
like,
if you try
Is
them.
the number of time and research
they've
they've
done.
done that?
Yeah, the
That's what
work
I'm just
and the
looking at.
mind.
It's not all about like wow, but like people like the brain behind all this, like people that have devoted their life just working on these gadgets and machinery and the rest. Like, how those people? Like people behind the scene, like we need to know them. Like they need like wow, applaud.
Now,
Because,
one
like-
of the things that makes the US so strong, the Fed so strong, is because they willingly spend a lot of money on
Yeah,
it.
they should cover like
And I think
7 billion.
yeah, and I think
Yeah.
they appreciate brilliant mind in the sense that anywhere you're from, once you can like you're capable of it, they will bring you in to like give you the resources
Nurture you.
to like bring the best out of you. That's what they have the ability to. Because if you notice, China too is trying to replicate some of the stuff they have, but they're missing some touch, which is the software part, as the guy mentioned in the video. So like, but US is not like that. They actually, US is a kind of a diverse place. You go, you see all race of people, all kind of people, so all kind of talent. Everybody's just there. So, and the best of the minds are there. So
Yeah.
how can they go wrong making things?
All right.
Just to be part of them.
I'm thinking of actually, putting off my country to go against the US.
Eh? I don't know.
We are not ready to die yet. We'll see you guys on our next one. Do not forget to like, subscribe, share this video, please.
Bye.